good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wisdom Transmissions Live, here with my beautiful fiance, Breanne. We're glad to be with you once again today. It's been a very incredible 2025 so far, so hope you've all been having some good abundance coming your way. Breanne, how's things going with you with your readings?
Yes, like 2025 has been, so busy. We're just a week in, and it's been a really great start to 2025. So I'm excited to see what this year has in store for all of us.
Oh yeah. Maybe we got a lot of questions on standby as well too. So again, as always, we take the donation-based questions first. We're also taking personal readings today. So if you do have personal readings are by donation. They're not by free. Okay. We will be taking some semi-personal and general questions later on as well too. It just depends on how many donations we get. We usually get quite a lot of them. So again, if you do have a personal reading in mind, please leave a donation, and Breanne and I will both be commenting on your situation unless you ask for one of us or anything of that nature. Before we get started, we're just going to go ahead and go into some announcements, and we'll be back and we'll get things rolling with readings. Here we go.
Private one-to-one sessions have returned with Brad Johnson and Adronis, with appointment times from 30, 45, and 60 minutes online. Offline sessions including the 3 questions by email and distance healing are now available. Book your session now through our website, wisdomtransmissions.com.
Get readings with Breanne and be astonished at the depth and accuracy she provides for you through her tarot readings. Breanne can create crystal grids for distance healing, plus offer Reiki and Kundalini attunements. She is also a certified Flying Star Feng Shui consultant. Visit Breanne's website and book your session today at readingswithbreanne.com.
Source Energy enhanced products to repair and rejuvenate the body. From the power of light to crystals to bed kits, card decks, and more. View our free samples, tutorials, and testimonials on our website, etherx.co.
And another announcement is that Breanne is going to be added to wisdomtransmissions.com this week. So I'm going to be adding her as part of an additional reader for Wisdom Transmissions because she has her own style of reading that's different from mine, where I will use tarot. But mine's more about going within the Akashic Records, intuition, the higher self, going with Adronis in that sense. So she's going to have some of her readings put on Wisdom Transmissions. So you'll be able to find her also on Wisdom Transmissions, and when you order, you'll be transferred directly to her website to complete the order. So I was talking to her about that yesterday. So I think it's time I've added you onto Wisdom Transmissions. So that's going to be the plan. So I'm looking forward to that. So expect that on Wisdom Transmissions website this week, with Breanne being an additional reader that will be added to the mix. Okay, so you ready?
I'm ready to go.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's start off with some of the donation-based questions here. Now, of course, it tells me there's 3 donations in the star column, but there's a lot more than that. So we're just going to start off with the first 3 here that I see. Okay, so we have one here from Kyle. Kyle says, Brad and Adronis, in regards to the great solar flash or reset, how best to prepare for this? What can you share on this topic? Will there be any warning? Just be yourself. I've talked about this quite extensively. Adronis has talked about this quite extensively. It's not a solar flash. There's no solar flash happening, right? But I know a lot of people on YouTube will tell you something different. It's, oh yeah, that's the sun's going crazy and it's going to belch off a big solar flare and it's going to hit the earth. And no, that's not what's happening at all. So like I said, I'm only giving you guys my perspective, right? Because I've looked into these things. And when I tell you these things through my perspective, or if Adronis tells you things from his perspective, it all just comes through experience from what we're seeing here. So I'm not seeing a solar flash. Now, what I'm seeing is a crossing over singularity, right? It's the idea of a folding singularity that is going to bring us out the other side. It's like basically going into a black hole. That's really what's happening. But this black hole is, you could say, the entire universe itself. It's not something you can just point to and say, there it is, right? This entire universe is basically folding in on itself and then coming out the other side, where you're seeing a whole new transition, a whole new transformation taking place. We don't really know what's on that other side of the black hole, so to speak, or the folding of the singularity that's taking place. So we, from what I've been told, it's like not everybody's even going to notice anything's happened, right? Very few people are, and it's going to be a very seamless transition, and that's happening around 2038. Just live your life. Don't worry about thinking, oh my God, okay, well, guys, there's a big reset coming. There's a big solar flash coming, so I'm building this bunker. You don't need to do that. Live your life. Live your life naturally. Live your life as you're living it now, right? Follow any goals that you have. Set goals for yourself, right? Perform where you feel you want to perform. Do what you feel you want to do. Just live your life. Don't live in fear, right? That's a common message, I know, but it's the truth, right? You don't live in fear. You don't get in a state of preparation. You're not hiding in a bunker, sitting in a corner, worrying when this is going to happen. That's not living. You're completely saturated in fear. You got to get past that. You guys are on my Wisdom Transmissions webcast for quite a while now. You know what I'm going to say. Okay, I'm not too sure if Kyle, if you're new here, if you're new, welcome. But if you watch a lot of my webcasts, you know I talk a lot about that. And what I would suggest as well too is everybody do 2 techniques. Trauma Transcendence technique. You can find the free e-course on wisdomtransmissions.com. It's on the homepage. You scroll down, you'll see the sign-up form there. Secondly, white light breath. Okay, I just did a new video on that. Please work on those 2 things. That's going to change your life. Okay, and they're both free. So check that out. Thank you, Kyle. All right, let's move on. Okay, I'm going to see if there's one here for both Breanne and I can answer first. Okay. Okay, I'm not. Sorry, Sean. I'm not going to answer questions like that. Okay, guys. I am not here to tell you who's legitimate and who's not. Okay, so maybe I should mention that at the beginning of every webcast, because questions do come in about that. Brad, there's this person who says this. Is they legit? Are they legit? No, I'm not going to tell you. Okay, you have to figure that out for yourself. I am not here to be your confessor about thinking who is legit and who's not. You have to really look inside your heart and see that. So I'm not here to go personally into any people and give my personal opinions of people. Okay, so I'm not going to answer questions like that. But thank you anyways. Okay. Okay. We're not doing any healing requests today, guys. So healing requests are done through private sessions, or again, the weekly Adronis Patreon. That is also available. But private sessions are a possibility. Today, we're really just doing readings, okay, not healing. Let me go to this question. Adronis, this is the MBST therapy, magnetic resonance, effective in restoring certain issues related to osteoarthritis and muscle and tissue problems. Okay, one moment. Let me bring Adronis in, and he can talk about this, and we'll try and get some questions going.
No, okay.
Okay. Remember, Breanne's here, my friends. All right, so you can feel free. Oh, dropping stuff everywhere. She's here too, so feel free to ask her questions as well. She's a great reader. Okay, one moment. Let's go ahead and tackle this one. Magnetic resonance, effective in restoring certain issues related to osteoarthritis and muscle and tissue problems. Okay, one moment. We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. We want to thank you for your question. When you're looking at the nature of some of these devices pertaining to magnetic therapy, it requires the, shall we say, understanding of how they are built, how they are constructed, how intense is the magnetism in that sense, how intense is the machinery that's actually portraying the, shall we say, power supply relating to the magnetism in question. We would say that their results would vary. Now, most importantly, you have to understand that when there are persisting problems that represent, shall we say, osteoarthritis or arthritic pain or anything of that nature, you have to understand that you're not trying to get rid of the arthritis. The arthritis is the defense mechanism to protecting your joints. That's not the problem. The problem is the toxins. The problems are the invaders, the intruders within your body. So you may notice that there will be less of a feeling of arthritis or that stiffness or that pain within your body, yes, but that's not fully taking care of the intruders. The intruders that are actually taking place within your body, again, represent viruses, pathogens, bacteria, parasites, etc. That is what's causing the issue. And it has basically been eating away at your tissues. It has been eating away at the contents within the areas of the body that are susceptible to the joints. That's what's causing the problem. Now, of course, that particular tissue can be rebuilt through such technology that you're referring to, but you're still not remedying the situation pertaining to cleaning your body of viruses, pathogens, toxins, and parasites. That's what's got to go, because that's what's causing the underlying issue. So you can repair and regenerate the tissues all you want, but until you actually start flushing out your body, where you're using something like Radiate, where again, you're working together with mineralization, you're mineralizing your body, you're cutting back on processed foods, you're eating more vitality foods, living foods, superfoods, a lot of that is coming together. That's what's going to aid you in helping to recover your body. You're talking to spirit, you're working with the white light breath technique. You're clearing out all of those parasites, toxins, viruses. As Brad has shared with you pertaining to that white light breath, it is capable of curability for all things based on you. If you are assigning curability to everything, and you know it is true, and you're performing the white light breath, toxins will go, viruses will go, pathogens will go, intruders, parasites will go, because that's the underlying issue. You're focused so much on trying to regenerate the body, but you don't understand exactly how the deterioration is happening. And until you actually see that, you're not going to remedy yourself at all. You're going to spend your times just working with regeneration practices, technologies, but it's still going to happen. Clear out the source to what is causing those. And those are viruses, pathogens, bacteria, invaders, parasites. Clean them out. Once they're cleaned out, you no longer have a threat that is trying to consume your body. Now your tissues can be regenerated, and now you can even start reversing your age. Your vitality starts coming back. Good moods start coming back. Vitality overall now becomes supreme within your body. That is something to consider. All right. We thank you for your question. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Annie, for that. Did you have anything to add to that?
Oh, I was just loving that transmission. It was very good. I didn't end up pulling tarot on it.
Okay.
Very nice.
Okay, no, that's good. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, so we just did that one, so let me hide that one out of the way. Yeah. Okay, I think we've taken care of all the ones here. All right, let me just go to, because I know there's more of them, but like I said, it's not showing in a particular column. Okay, here's one for Breanne, so I'm going to get her to do this one first. So, will there be snap elections in Germany on February 23rd, with Alice Wido becoming our next chancellor with help from Elon Musk? Elon's helping everybody, isn't he? I'll take care of the States. I'll take care of Canada. I'll take care of Germany, right? It's like the go-to guy to help with this stuff. So I'm going to let Breanne completely handle this one, and I'll do some follow-up if need be.
Yes, this looks very positive. Again, we've got lots of kings and high authority people here working the magic. So absolutely, I think that is a possibility with the situation being the King of Wands and the Ten of Cups. So something really beneficial to look forward to. A little bit of a glare, sorry guys, but yes, absolutely. I got a big yes for that. It looks like there could be very much snap elections, and it could be very beneficial.
So Elon's going to be helping out?
Let's look specifically. I would say yes with this, because we also have a couple different individuals, but let me just ask that specific one about Elon. Is Elon going to be assisting? Yes,
Hmm.
it looks like it. We've got the Justice and the Six of Pentacles, so it looks like he's
We
going to
got the
very
Tower
much
there
be.
as well too. So
Yeah, it looks like things
going
are
on.
crumbling, kind of sitting on the fence. So I think it's a decision that's being talked about for sure. But with the Justice and the Six of Pentacles being the outcome, looks like he may be definitely have his hands in this situation and assisting.
Hands in the cookie jar.
Hands, yeah. It feels like his hands are in many cookie jars.
Like I said, he's basically going country to country and doing this. This guy has a lot of power. That's what I can say. I mean, he's the richest guy in the world, of course, but like I said, there's people who are curious about him. Like I said, I'm not going into any personal readings with it, but like I said, he has a role to play, and he's just playing his role. So some people can see that as something beneficial or aggressive. It's a combination of the two, but he has a role to play. That's best thing we can share about him. So very good question. Thank you for that. Okay, let's go to. Okay, so we've already done that one. I'm just going through some of the donation-based questions here, everybody. So. Adronis, how can one tell if a black magic curse has been placed on a house or factory, and what remedy would you suggest to remove the curse? Okay, one moment. And you can look up anything about that too as well. So if there's anything about removing curses from environments. Okay, here we go. We thank you very much. Well, understand that if someone knows what they're doing pertaining to utilizing the idea of black magic, anything can basically have that particular type of field placed upon a state of environment, whether it's a building, whether it's a structure, whether it's an open environment, whether it's people, whether it's anything in that nature. Now, first of all, you have to understand exactly how black magic itself works. It comes through an intense amount of emotion. All right. So when the caster is performing that particular ritual, again, on an example as a structure or a warehouse or anything of that particular nature, there is a great deal of emotional residue within that space, which means you walk in that space and it may feel very angry. It may feel very fearful. It may feel like death inside. So for those who are very empathic and intuitive, you are noticing that as soon as you step into a space that may have that type of field, those particular effects relating to emotion. What is it that you would do to clear that out? You go to spirit. You go to your heart. You go to the light. Because emotions themselves are a very dense, low pressure system. They represent a form of emotional magnetism. It is not a strong energy. It may feel intense because of its denseness. Emotions is very, very dense. Think of it like a low pressure fog system. All right. That would represent the emotions. Now, let's look up, further up, further up, further up, and you're moving towards the sun. And you're shining the rays of light upon that fog so powerfully that the fog itself dissipates. All right. So again, you have the intensity of light that is shining through the fog. The fog now starts to dissipate. It starts to lose its own magnetism, and it shifts itself back up into the light, back into the dielectric, as it were. So when you're looking at the nature of any particular curse or hex, but here's the thing, many of you think there's curses and hexes on you when there isn't. It's your own ego. It's your own emotion. The reason being is because we've talked to many of you who think they have curses and hexes on them when they don't. It's really just your own emotional heaviness that you're feeling. It's your own, shall we say, expansion of awareness that is telling you that you've been holding on to things that can be detrimental, regressive, despairing, hopeless in that sense. But all that's happened is because you've been working on yourself, you've widened the band relating to your conscious awareness, and you're discovering aspects within yourself that you could not see before, and all of a sudden you start to panic. You think somebody else has put something on you. No, because you're again falling for your own ignorance. If you don't know what's going on, talk to somebody who can help you if you're not sure. It is never a guarantee that there is a building that's hexed. It is never a guarantee that you or someone you know is hexed, because that's not really what's going on. What's really going on 9 times out of 10 is the realization of heaviness within yourself that you could not see before, because you start doing your inner work. And as we stated, you work with the light, you work with spirit, it dissipates the fog. Does not matter what brought it about, whether it's your own heaviness of emotion, whether it is a hex or anything of that nature, all of that can be cleared, because nothing pertaining to emotions is ever permanent. It is an impermanence, and it can therefore be absorbed back into the source. All right? We thank you very much. Okay, honey, what did you get?
Well, I really like that Adronis was talking about the fact that some, not to say that there are not any hexes and curses out there. I do think that something's very much a potential and a possibility. But again, a lot of individuals do still think that, this is what's causing a lot of their disruptions and chaos. And that's not always the case. Like, it's a lot of times their ego, their heavy belief systems that are built up. So again, I love that the Two of Cups is right at the outcome of this. So again, radiating that light and your truth and you just beaming that light, you guys, beaming that big ball of light into any situations can really assist. Oh yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
And really assist with that. So again, just touching it, being in tune with yourself with that Two of Cups, because it's not always to do with a curse or something of that matter. A lot of people are just assuming that that's what they're going to.
Yes.
And that's just a belief system that they need to look at, and fears they need to surrender and release here. But yeah, focus on the beautiful white light radiating from your heart. And a lot of these things can be, resolved quite fast here.
Yeah. And I mean this very literally. If I had $1 for every time a person came to me thinking that they'd be hexed, I'd probably have about $1,000 in my bank account right now. Okay. So I get a lot of people who come to me and say, Brad, I think somebody's planted a hex on me. I scan them. I said, there's nothing there. Right. The reason why I say that is because I can tune into a person and I can see if there's a cord that's connected to somebody else. I may not know who that somebody else is, but I basically feel the presence of a cord that's connecting with that person that is responsible for the deliverance of that particular type of hex. And that is extremely rare. Okay. So it's exactly as Adrona says, 9 times out of 10, you are basically just sharpening your awareness because you're moving into inner development. You're meditating, you're going within, you're doing your inner practices. And now you're noticing something you could not see before, and you don't know what it is, and you get scared. Oh my God, somebody put a hex on me. No, this is your own emotional debris. So that again is very, very common. So I do get a lot of people that come to me.
It's it's definitely a very popular question for sure. And I think a lot of people that are very intuitive as well, they need to kind of reevaluate, because they take on other people's emotions
exactly.
and they think it's their own and they identify with that. So it's about going deeper and focusing on that light and cutting cords. I like cutting cords and working with the white light for sure.
One other practice I would suggest everybody work with is what's referred to as subtle meditation, right? All that is just getting yourself quiet and breathing in as quietly as you can through your nose and out through your nose. And just try to keep your breath as quiet as possible. This is what I've been doing actually the past few nights, is just working with a subtle meditation. And it expands you. It helps you to see and feel everything around you. That's where the power comes from. You're present with your breath. You're tuning into the subtlety, right? You're going into the transcendental, and you just feel everything. You can feel everything in your body. You can feel everything in your emotions. You can feel everything in your environment. That's the subtle meditation. Just breathing as quietly as you can, being present with it and tuning in. It's amazing. All right, let's go to, we got more questions piling in here. So this is great. I'm glad you guys are so active today. It's wonderful. Thank you, Gijo, for your question. Okay. Okay, here's one from Samar. I'm going to get Breanne to do this one. What would be the best career path for me, for Samar? Again, personal questions are welcome, so thank you for that.
Samar, for this one, I'll definitely pull some cards here, but I'm almost feeling kind of guided to say, if you do want to email me your date of birth, I can look into something more specific for you as well.
Yeah.
But let's see what the cards have to say.
It's good for us to get like birth dates and photos of a person as well too. It helps us to lock onto the energy a lot more, especially because there's a lot of you in the chat. Sometimes these readings can get mixed up for other people because we're kind of diving into the ocean here.
So. I definitely see new breakthroughs when it comes to your career, and I see that you're looking at, you know, making that change here into something that will be more fulfilling for you. It definitely looks like that. In terms of specific things, with the chariot being the outcome, it feels like this could even be in results to like certain industries that involve travel, a lot of even like getting like kind of a social media with the Three of Wands. So lots of like technology, some travel indications in terms of those kind of fields. But again, I would love to like chat with you a little bit more specifically if you wanted to email me your date of birth, and I can give you more of some feels that would be more in particular, more precise for you. But lots of momentum and breakthroughs with, I feel like, even like social media. I feel like technology. I'm not sure if you're into technology or social media, but Three of Wands is really screaming to me there.
Good. So Samara, let's take a look here. Yeah, I get the feeling that you could be a vlogger. Okay, a vlogger where you could actually start traveling the world and start vlogging about your locations. You're giving reviews to people. You have this good way of words with you, right? I think you're a good speaker. So with the ability of speech, which you hold very strongly, I think also you're a very friendly person. You're very sociable. I feel like you can talk to people and have really interesting conversations. That's maybe something you may want to consider, is maybe just start off in some areas, you know, touring and traveling and giving good reviews, maybe to hotels that you're staying at, restaurants you're eating at, anything of that nature, right? We have a lot of travel vloggers, but I think you could give your unique spin on it. So the feeling of traveling, the feeling of you working with social media, right? And just make, I mean, guys, it's so easy right now. Nowadays, you can travel the world and make 5 figures, 6 figures very easily, right? It's about you. You have this particular brand about yourself. And with that brand, you can just go out and just start traveling the world. And people will actually start paying for your plane ticket to go out to where they are, review their hotel, review their restaurant, review all these things. They will want you there. So let your personality shine. That's what I'm getting here.
Absolutely. Big breakthroughs with your communication. But I love the review energy of that too, because with the Knight of Cups, this is proposals, but in terms of giving your feedback, whether, you know, your reviews here. So very, very much good energy.
So Samara, you can let us know if that rings a bell to you. And I think that would be that'd be an adventure, right? You'd have an exciting time on Earth. And I kind of had that feeling about you. You have this kind of entrepreneurial spirit to yourself. I couldn't really put my finger onto where it is, but I think you're starting to move into something where I can now start putting my finger on something. So, oh, that's what you do. This is what I'm talking about. Sometimes it doesn't always come. It's just with time and with experience, we can now start, oh, okay, I'm starting to see your fingerprints being placed here on social media and traveling, right? So we're seeing that unfold now. So very good. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go to Kyle Collins here. Kyle says, Brad, Adronis, is an Ormus of monoatomic gold beneficial to be taken within the human body? What specific benefits may be gained? You have to be careful with this, okay? Because, like I said, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. You have to be careful with how people are producing the Ormus, if they're even putting Ormus in it. I would say the best way for you to do it is look up recipes for yourself and start creating them yourself, right? So if you can get your hands on monatomic gold, because I think some people are selling them on like Etsy or eBay or something of that nature, you have to start doing recipes, okay? There's no magic formula for that, because some people can benefit with a very small amount. Some people can benefit with a very high amount. You have to experiment. Okay, so what I would suggest is you're looking at recipes, right? There are recipes for Ormus online that you can find. But what I would suggest is just start off small to see how it reacts with your body, okay? And then if you can handle a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, then that's going to give you the benefit that you feel you want to get, okay? So it's kind of like how we're experimenting with, you know, maybe new supplements or anything of that nature. We're just taking very small amounts at first and then seeing how things progress, okay? So you have to do that. Guys, the human body is not a robot, okay? It is not one mixture serves all. Doesn't work that way. Never has worked that way. Stop seeing yourself as robots, okay? It's not about just take 5 milligrams of this and that's for everybody. That's how basically people will cheat you out of things, okay? Everybody is different. Everybody has their own sensitivities. Everybody has their own tolerances. You have to find out which is yours, right? So please experiment with yours at first. And like I would say for anybody who wants to take Ormus, because my brother was also very big on Ormus as well too. I have 4 brothers. It's the third youngest. He was it was a couple years ago. I was in Salt Spring. I was channeling Adronis. I was doing an event there, and then my brother came in and he was asking Adronis about all these questions about Ormus and working with Salt Spring, the energies of Salt Spring Island. And Adronis gave him such incredible detail that he told him exactly what specific amounts to take and so forth. But he's also telling people, please start off small and work your way up. So that's kind of the same advice here. I've had a lot of questions over the years about Ormus. Okay. Now Ormus, I have tried Ormus as well too. I've tried different types, right? Small amounts, large amounts. They're okay. Doesn't really do anything for me. Okay, but that may be just because I need to take more doses. I have a lot of higher tolerances for this. I can tell you guys a story as well too. Is when I dislocated my shoulder, and I was in the hospital. It wasn't a pleasant time. I had to wait about 5 hours for somebody to pop my shoulder back in. But they were giving me morphine, right? Didn't affect me, right? They would give me the usual amounts of morphine, right? They're aware of my weight and all that stuff, and they gave me morphine, and within a few seconds, I just felt a bit of a blurry vision. 5 seconds, the morphine vanished. Like just didn't stop. I continued to feel normal the way I was. It's like my own body was fighting off the morphine. Like, nope, don't want that. Get that out of here. And then they, at the right close to the time where they were about to see me, they were putting an oxygen mask on me and trying to get me into putting some anesthesia on me. That wore off after 10 seconds, right? So they put it on me and I could feel a bit of a dizziness, and all of a sudden the dizziness went, right? So it feels like I have like an antivirus in my body protecting me from those particular types of toxins, right? Because they are toxins, simple as that. Chemicals, toxins, and they wear off after a few seconds. So this is, again, just what I'm sharing is that we all have our own tolerances and sensitivities, and you need to just practice. You need to work with it. Start off small, work your way up. Okay. Hannah, anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pull tarot. I was listening to that, but kind of a similar situation for myself too. It wasn't that specific supplement, but I've experimented with taking high doses of like vitamin D, and I was just going off of like what other people were doing, and that's not what went well with my body. And I actually had really high toxic levels, and I started losing my hair. And so you just have to experiment and start small and just not go full force, because that's definitely what I did, and it backfired on me. So.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next one here. This is from Emma Smith. Now, like I said, we're not offering healing today, but we can offer some advice pertaining to this. So help with digestive issue in gallbladder. So Emma, I really want you to go watch the white light breath video. Okay. So watch the white light breath video. Start doing it. Okay. If there's digestive issues, that means you're often backed up. You need to start evacuating the system. Colon cleansing. Okay. Work with colon cleansing, work with enemas, work with everything that's helping to clean out the intestines. You have too much sludge, you have too much bacteria in the intestines. I know what that's like. I've had to clean myself out several times, right? So you need to clean that out. If you're having problems with gallbladder, your liver is most likely toxic. Okay, you need to start working with liver flushes. You need to start taking that out as well too. So again, white light breath is going to help to balance a lot of those things energetically, but we still need to do the physical aspect of it. So clean out your liver, clean out your intestines, get all the gunk out of there, right? Drinking lemon water is very, very good. Lemon water, turmeric, okay, Manuka honey is also very good. So try working with some of those things. But like I said, working with white light breath will seriously help you out. Honey, what did you get?
Yes, and I can relate to this. I had gallbladder. I had my gallbladder removed quite a few years back, and I have to say, I know this is basic guidance, but you really have to look at your diet as well, and with those cleanses, because there's most likely, like with this energy too, a buildup of toxic energy in your body, and it needs to be cleared out, especially with that hermit. So when we're looking at that, you very much can alter this. You can clean it out, but you have to work with all those techniques, especially the white light. I was doing this with I had an ear thing a little while ago. White light, a couple minutes and it was gone. Like, it was incredibly amazing how fast it worked as well. So keep working with that, but really reevaluating your health. You have to look at what you've been doing over the last while, because there's definitely a buildup here with this energy here.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Yeah, a lot build up in the intestines.
Yeah.
Especially with the gall. Like again, guys, I'm not here to give you medical advice. Okay, I'm just looking at this as an energy healer. So as a disclaimer, I do not give medical advice. I do not give medical diagnosis. I do not do any of that stuff. I really just look at these things from the perspective of a healer for energy. Okay, so looking at that as just I'm tuning into you right now. If I'm stepping into your field and I'm looking at your intestines, completely backed up. Right? If I'm stepping into your field right now, if I'm looking at your liver and your gallbladder, they're struggling. It's like looking at this kind of like wasp nest, right? And there's just a lot of thickness and debris there that should not be there, and it needs to be cleansed. It needs to be pulled apart. It needs to be brought into the bloodstream and cleared out. Okay, radiate does that very well. White light breath depends on you. If you make that white light very strong, it can help you a lot. Okay, but radiate certainly can help you out with that. Okay, free version, yes. Premium version, even better. Okay, so you go to radiateapp.com, you download the free Radiate app. I'm upgrading it right now. Okay, so I'm in the process this week of upgrading the potency of the. That's a nice card. The potency of Radiate altogether. Okay, so it's the same interface, but the spirit codes that are behind the interface are being upgraded. They're being strengthened a lot more. So that is going to be happening this week. So again, please make sure you're cleaning yourself out. That's the most important thing right now. Like we can do healing work, but like I said, don't just rely on that. You have to do the physical work at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
And with that yellow that we have here with the lemons, I feel like the warm water and lemons can be a huge cleanser for you there as well.
Yeah, we want to find out exactly what the natural remedy of cleansing is. So again, mineral salts too. Okay. So Baja Gold sea salt, that is spelt BAJA Gold, Gold, Baja Gold sea salt. Okay, you can get that on Amazon. It's just a little bag it comes into it. It's mineral salts, but it contains the most minerals out of any other sea salt on the market. Okay, it's highly recommended. Take a pinch of it, put it on your tongue, take some water, sip it down 4 times a day. Okay, that's going to help to replenish your body. I put that salt on every bit of food I eat, so it's very, very helpful. Okay, so please use that. That's going to help you out too. Okay, let's go to Tammy's question here. Tammy's question. So she didn't put it on her donation, but it's just down here. Okay. I think she has a couple of different. Okay. She has a couple of different posts, but it's fine. Why am I having this continued problem with my mom? Is this a generational or past life issue? Okay, I'm going to tell you the truth. Are you ready? It has nothing to do with your mom. Okay. This is the thing, everybody, is that whenever we're having problems with a loved one, we just get so upset with them. Okay. But you have to understand that your loved one is a reflection of yourself. Okay. So if you are having a problem with your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your best friend, your partner, your children, your grandchildren, your boss, your co-workers, all of that, we instantly think that you have to go outside and correct something with them. Wrong. That won't go anywhere. That's not going to do anything, because even if you do try to make amends outside, somebody else is going to come along and this same situation is going to take place. You need to be aware of your patterns. This is exactly why I am highly suggesting to all of you that you go and you watch the Trauma Transcendence Technique 10-day e-course. It's free and it teaches you this, okay? We have to eliminate the patterns within ourselves that are causing these particular states of animosity-based relationships to happen, because we are angry, we are sad, we are fearful. We go into the trauma levels. We are abandoned. We are abused. We are rejected. We want to run away. We are addicted. Okay. We go into the desire levels. We want success. We want superiority. We want security. We want hope. We want pleasure. We want envy. We want neutrality/apathy, right? These are the very things that are poisoning you. It is not about somebody else. It's about you, because of your patterns. All the power that is within the universe is inside you, which means, guess what? Every single person that you come in contact with on this planet has absolutely no power to you whatsoever. Did you know that? You're the only one who wields power. And when you think someone wields power over you, you're giving them yours. You're leasing it out to them. And that is exactly why you feel they have such a hold on you. You see them, whether you love them or despise them, it doesn't matter. Whether you feel that they're positive or negative doesn't matter. You're susceptible to their influence. You make their influence powerful by you contributing your power to them. And that's why they feel dominant. That's why they feel hurtful. That's why they feel like they're bringing you in despair. But you lent it. You lent all that power. Oh my God, my mom's mad at me. Ah. And you are lending them that power. So this is exactly why we go into the trauma transcendence technique. We clean all that out. We clean out the tendencies behind emotions that we call reactions. We clean out the traumas. We clean out the desires, right? We clean all of that out. And now you're just looking at everybody neutrally. Nobody affects you anymore. I am telling you this, guys, not because of belief, not because of theory, but because this is indeed the way things are. This is the subtle perception of the way things are, because I'm not the only one who said it to all of you. The great masters of our ancient past have said this to us to death, but we haven't listened because we, again, are ignorant to the idea of feeling that the outside world is going to change because we're putting our energy towards that. And that's wrong. You have to do it from in here. And I know not all of you are listening to me every single week, and that's fine. If you're new, welcome. But now here you go. Welcome to the webcast, okay? Because this is what I'm putting out every single week. So, honey, you got the.
I think you said that so beautifully. And when I pulled the tarot, like I will say, I have had tarot readings from the past that have had similar questions, and some of the cards do indicate some kind of a karmic relationship. Mm-hmm. But again, I will say I don't see that as being your case, and I think a lot of what Brad said is so spot on here. A lot of this is a lesson. It's a lesson for you to come here and to learn and to see things from a different perspective. And this is really you giving your power away. So when you can connect and be at peace with that situation, regardless of what other people are doing, you're going to see so much momentum forward, and that's not going to continue to bother you. But this is keeping you tied because you're allowing it to. You're believing that it's it's your problem when it's not. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Exactly. So to follow up with that, you may ask the question, okay, well, Brad, I'll do the trauma transcendence technique then, and what's going to happen? Is my mom just going to stop arguing with me? Yes, exactly. That is exactly what's going to happen, because the pattern that is causing all of this aggression and hostility between the two of you is going to be vanquished. Do you know what we do in the trauma transcendence technique? We send everything that is problematic to the ether. Now, do you know what a lot of healers will tell you to do? Oh, it's okay. Take that negative and turn it into a positive. Absolute crap. Okay? No offense, but that's absolute crap. Because as long as you have positive, you will have negative. As long as you have negative, you will have positive, and they will clash with each other. You are playing with polarities like a kindergartner. And that's not going to work. You're just clashing swords. I'm going to focus more on the positive. Okay, that may give you a short time of relief, but guess what happens again? The back door starts to open. There's the negative, and it comes right back. They will always clash with each other. This is not about turning negative into a positive. That is a waste of time, and that is ignorance. This is about taking the entire pattern as it is, as you see it, going right into the depths where you come face to face with life or death, because you're drilling down and seeing, if this problem continues, what would happen? Oh, I'd probably lose my job. And then what would happen? Oh, I'd probably be out on the street. Then what would happen? I'd be unbelievably depressed. And then what would happen? I'd probably consider even taking my own life. So what we call that in trauma transcendence technique is the drill down exercise, which means you face the despair that relates to this pattern, and you see exactly how this comes face to face with a life or death situation. That's the trauma. Now we take that out, we put it into a ball, we Om chant into it, and we continue to Om chant until that complete problem is vanquished, gone. And it's so simple, right? But what needs to be done with you is your ability to be calm and be neutral. That's why we do breath work in TTT. Okay. Then we send that to the ether. The ether absorbs it altogether because everything comes from the ether. The ether cannot be seen. The ether cannot be perceived. The ether cannot be imagined. But the ether is. It is responsible for everything that's here because it is infinite capacitance. And whenever there is a perturbation of the ether, that is a thought. That is a product of what we call ahamkara. Ahamkara in Sanskrit basically means I-ness. I am this, I am that, I am I. And those are the very perturbations that's causing the rupture within the ether. It is an etheric perturbation pertaining to the nature of emotion. So what we're doing is we're sealing that up. Remember what I talked about earlier with the question about curses and hexes and how Adronis was talking about the magnetism relating to the fog? Well, that's your emotions. Those are your traumas. Those are your desires. All of that is heavy fog. And we're taking it in the light, and the light is functioning as a chariot, and it's going back into the ether, and it's closing it up. That's what you do. That's what works. Because I speak from experience with this, my friends. I'm not trying to say I'm better than everybody in that sense, but I found the answer. Okay. And this is the answer. And because it's exactly what the ancient masters have done. The ancient masters have done these things, and they've been trying to tell people this. You need to give it up. You need to send it back. Send it back into the ether. Let it close it up. Seal it. Get it out of here. Take no thought. Jesus Christ saying that to his disciples all the time. Take no thought. He didn't say, oh, don't worry about it. Oh, don't worry, don't worry. He said, take no thought. That is the answer through the ether, right? You are no longer holding on to those thoughts. You are giving it back to the ether. The ether is sealing it up, and it's gone. So when you vanquish that problem does not remain. It's gone completely. Okay. You will see this as you take the 10-day course. It's free. It's available on wisdomtransmissions.com. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. Thank you, Tammy, for your question, because it's a very good thing that you shared that, because a lot of people need to hear this. We are so on the edge of anger and fear and sadness, and we think that this is healthy, and it's not. You are slowly destroying yourself. And this is scientifically backed, that people who are constantly berated by anger and fear and sadness are poisoning themselves slowly. Do you want to keep poisoning yourself, or do you want a solution? And here's a free solution for you. Go get it, right? It's there for you. And I'm more than happy to answer questions about TTT if you have any, okay? All right, let's go down a bit more. This one here, oh, I got one for Breanne now, finally. All right, I'm just playing you guys. Okay, let's go to for Breanne. Do you see the UK following Trump changing or lowering capital gain taxes as part of the financial reset to give people financial freedom? So I'm going to leave this one completely to you, huh? So it's by request. Well, that's happening. I'm just going to get some more water. Take it.
The wheel. There's Trump right there. Absolutely, my friends. So we've got a victory here. Really good changes and transformations. So I do see this. Look at this is also 3 of Wands showing this is something that is going to be, it seems like, effective worldwide, again, overseas in the UK. So in terms of that question, I do see a lowering of gains, taxes, a huge change and a shift when it comes to the economy and the financial system. So yes, a big yes to that question for sure. Still may take a tiny bit of time here, but we're headed into something really positive for sure, especially for the UK. All right, so okay. There you have it. Really good.
So there's going to lower capital gain taxes?
It looks like it, yeah. Big yes, and even indicating the 3 of Wands, overseas, UK. So it looks like some good answers.
Yeah, absolutely. Like so, this is the last real rough year. This is the last year where we're bearing the real rough tides, right? When we get very close to around the end of the year, the water is going to start smoothing out. 2026, 2027, those are golden years. That's where we start we're doing a lot of the cleanup work now. And then we're kind of like starting to admire all the cleanup work that we're doing. And now we're going to start renovating the home. right? Which means there's still some work, but we're renovating spaces. So we've cleaned up all the crap. So, okay, good. We swept it clean. We did, okay, great. Let's start building onto the home because there was some damage here. So we're now just going to start renovating rather than cleaning. That's where we're going 2026, 2027.
Yeah. So yeah, a little bit of time still, but it looks really
Oh yeah, I mean, the next few months are going to be very exciting too as well. So. Okay, let's go to Dorota. And like I said, guys, I'm just doing donation-based questions that we have. We have tons of them. Okay, so we're just trying to go through them as we can. Okay, here's one from Dorota. What changes will this year bring for me? Okay, so I think maybe just a full out. I'll take this one with Akasha, and you can follow up on it. So let's see. So for Dorota, what changes will this year bring for me? Travel. I feel travel may be ahead for you as well too. I feel like maybe there's an opportunity for you to reacquaint with loved ones, maybe some connecting with extended family as well too. I'm also feeling business opportunities, so there may be some financial gains coming to you this month as well too. So maybe there's new opportunities for business growth. There's opportunities for travel. There's opportunity of reconnecting with loved ones as well too. So I'm feeling a lot of kind of like a reacquaintance. It's like a year of reacquainting yourself with a lot of these things that maybe you've wanted to do, or things that have lingered for a little bit of time, and now you're being able to kind of clear the air with it. Okay, how about you?
Yeah, the big thing, definitely, I do see travel as well. That's coming out in the tarot cards, especially with the Chariot. Lots of, it feels like right now you are in this process of gaining new ideas, new perspectives, and there are going to be new opportunities coming towards you that are going to build upon a lot of your strength and character. So you got that strength right in the situation of, let's say 2025. So this is going to be a big year where you're going to, I feel like, come up on top, and a lot of new opportunities coming towards you. So especially with the High Priestess, this could be you looking at yourself from a bigger perspective, diving deeper a little bit on your maybe spiritual journey as well with that. So following that intuition, but absolutely, I see new opportunities with career here, or abundance with the Page of Pentacles, and travel is really strong here as well for you.
Great. Excellent. Thank you, Dorota, for your question. Let's go down to Krati. Krati is next. Krati says, I'm a writer. I'm applying to publications. Will my pitches get accepted by some? I am losing the motivation as I have not gotten any success. Okay, so I'll let Breanne cover this first, and I'll follow up. I can tell you the personal experience out of me being a writer, because I used to write screenplays. I've written books as well, too. You basically have to believe, and obviously not even believe. You have to know that what you are offering is gold, but at the same time, you're open to critiques. You got to be open to your critiques to work, because if you're looking for publicists have certain expectations of the type of work that they want to have, right? So I've talked to publicists, and there's some places I've gotten published, specifically in Japan. With my work, that was a little bit easier because I love Adronis there. But the same thing is with writers. You have to be flexible with your work. You want to tell a story, but don't be afraid to be open to critiquing as well, too, to help improve your writing ability. And also, as a writer, you have to get used to the state of rejection. Okay, so let's go to Graham's.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of energy to support. There is going to be potential opportunities coming up, but there still could be some more rejection that is coming up in the energy, especially with the Page of Swords in your energy. So it's a bit of a delay, but not to give up on it at all, because you have the Two of Pentacles in the outcome, which is, again, balancing things out. As Brad mentioned, it's like being flexible, being open to certain energies coming in, or critiques, because we've got that Five of Swords over the situation. So I don't think you should give up on it, because we have that Page of Cups and the strength. This is only going to build and make you stronger here. It's going to build upon your character and moving things forward. But you have to see it as, this is something that you're very much gonna fulfill and move forward. Have those goals. Very important to have those goals and push forward, or you're kind of sitting in limbo, right? But just be open to other perspectives on your work as well, because that could help you gain insight and move forward with this as well.
So I would ask the question, what's stopping you from self-publishing? Okay. Now I can tell you from experience, because I've worked with publishers, I've worked with people at Voice Japan, right? And they actually pay quite well for their books. But when I've self-published books, Rainbow Wisdom, Reality Whisperer, okay, those are books that I've self-published. I actually made more from my self-publishing than I did with actually an agency. Okay. What I would suggest is, if you have the means, is to self-publish. Publications really aren't that great, and I can tell you that from experience. Okay. Like I said, I love working with voice publishing. I like working with the Japanese people, but I didn't really make that much from those books, and they were selling thousands of books, and I got like maybe less than like 80 cents, $1 out of each sale. But when I'm actually self-publishing, I'm really putting it out there, because I'll have a marketing specialist who will work together with me. I'll have a promotional specialist who will help get it out there. Then I'm basically bringing in like $5 or $6 per book. Okay, that is far more luxurious, I would say. That's far more beneficial than going with a publication. I would suggest, especially nowadays, don't go with publicists. Okay, it's too much of a rat race. They hardly pay you anything. You may get exposure, but like I said, all you have to do is even use AI. Use AI as a creative tool, or again, hire a specialist who's helping you market and promote yourself. You are going to do far better with self-publishing than you are with publications. I can tell you that from hands-on experience.
And just to add, I kind of pulled the chart while Brad was talking about what would the energy be if you were to self-publish, and I have a big yes to that. It looks like things will explode quite a bit faster too. Yep. There's a very much, yes, it may take, you got that 9 of Wands, so being persistent, you know, it's going to take a little bit of work, but the reward is far better.
Yeah, that's why I would suggest talk to a promotional agent, talk to someone who's in marketing, someone who can basically just do a big book campaign for you. They can build your landing page. You can maybe offer some additional gifts with it as well too. I've done this, and it really, really does well. Like, I mean, I've sold hundreds of those books, and even just by selling like a few hundred, I made more than I did with a publicist. Okay, publicists really are not that great. Okay, you'll get your work out there. They may have hundreds of thousands of people reading your books, which is good, but as far as payouts go, pathetic. Okay, pathetically bad. So again, working together with your self-publishing, you may not sell as many through a publicist, but you'll make a lot more.
You'll still do pretty well from what it looks like. Yeah,
exactly. So that's just something to look into. Like again, with my Adronis books in Japan, they were #1 bestsellers. They were #1 bestsellers through voice publishing. They put that on Amazon. They led in like a #1 in multiple categories in Japan, and they sold out well. How much did I get? $2,000, $3,000, maybe. When I started doing Reality Whisper, how much did I get? About $7,000, $8,000. There you go, right? a lot better with that. So that's what I'm telling you guys. Hands-on experience. I've done it personally. I know, right? So I'm writing another book. I'm writing Trauma Transcendence Technique. And guess what? I don't want a single publisher touching it. I'm doing it through self-publishing because that's the way to go. Okay, let's go to EUM142. Hi, Brad. Is there a reason why I don't even know what that says. Centrifuge. There's no vowels. Centrifuges don't want to rush with making bad actors. I really don't know what you're trying to ask. Centrifuges? What the hell is a centrifuge? I don't know what that is. Don't want to rush with making bad actors held accountable in front of the scenes like Trudeau and Fauci. I don't know what you're saying, Ewan. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. You need to kind of rephrase your question because I don't know what centrifuges even means. If you can rephrase it in time, then maybe we can tackle it again. I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay, let's go to Kyle. Kyle says, Breanne, what is the real situation with Trump talking about U.S. acquiring Greenland? Will this happen? Okay, so Greenland, they're going to buy out the whole world. Huh? Yeah, we're going to buy out Greenland. Well, okay, if you want 90% of ice, then go for it. We'll buy out Iceland. We'll buy out Canada. Canada will be the 51st state. Well, first of all, Canada can't be a 51st state because Canada's provinces, right? So, no offense, but I don't think Trump's gears are spinning too well here. Anyways, let's go ahead and see what we got.
Let's see. What's the energy of Trump acquiring Greenland? Is this going to happen?
He wants Canada, and now he wants Greenland.
Well, wheel of the year. looks like he's serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. There may be a few setbacks with it, but it looks like this is absolutely something that he is serious about. It doesn't, I know with the whole that him trying to make Canada the 51st state, it kind of came out, I think, as a joke. I don't know.
He's actually quite serious.
But yeah, that's what I mean. I see that happening. And with the Greenland, it looks like this is something he's definitely looking to acquire. So in time, it looks like that could be a strong possibility from what I see. What do you get?
Well, to use a funny spray tanning analogy for Trump, if he does buy Greenland, he can rename it Orangeland.
Oh
I'm just kidding. I'm sure Trump's a nice guy. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean that could be part of it. Basically, he's not really joking. Like if he sets his mind on something, he will make it happen. He will do it. So again, get ready for Orangeland, everybody. Right? So
Yeah.
so like I said, I do feel like maybe within the next little while we may see Canada merge together with the United States. And I feel like Mexico is going to join as well too. This is what I've talked about in the past, a few years ago, talking about the North American Union. So I think that is going to happen. I think at first it'll be Canada and the US, and then Mexico is going to come along. And then further down the road, I'd say North and South America will basically be one country, right? So that's going to be very, very interesting. So basically as far up as the Arctic, all the way down to Argentina, you're basically going to have the Americas, right? And the Americas are basically going to be one country. Not right away. That's still quite a ways down the road, but I think it's pretty much inevitable that it is going to happen that way.
Yeah, I see that in my crystal ball as well.
Yeah,
I see
but
that.
first it'll be Canada, and then later on Mexico, and then much later on South America, Central and South America. Yeah. Okay, let's go to, thank you, Kyle, for your question. Okay, this one here is from Curious Mind. Curious Mind says, I'm finishing up an accounting certification. If I pass, should I stay with the company I'm at, or is there a better opportunity elsewhere? So, what would you get for that one? Let's see if I can do something here. Finishing up an accounting certification. If I pass. I'd say it's kind of a break-even situation.
Yes, exactly.
Right? It doesn't really matter if you go somewhere else, and it doesn't really matter if you stay with the company. It's the account certification is going to basically pay for itself. I'm kind of getting a stalemate between those two. Think about you.
Yeah, you know what? Because my question was asking, what does the energy look like if you were to stay there? And it looks beneficial. I don't see, I see it being very much a potential when we have the Fool though, and the Seven of Wands. There's a potential of you looking elsewhere and having new opportunities as well. But I don't see it being like one extreme to the to the next.
One doesn't seem higher than the other.
It feels very much like you're on a good path here. I feel like you're going to accomplish this. It's going to be really successful. But the option is really there for you, either or. Looks like looks like a good energy.
Yeah, because I'm like measuring. That's why I had to pause for a moment. I'm like, there's no higher or lower here. It's all balanced. It's like the scales are just kind of tipping in balance. If you decide to be entrepreneurial with it, good, you're going to do well. If you decide to stay with this company with it, good, you're going to do well. Simple as that. It's kind of like you make your choice, right? Simple as that. Okay, thank you, Curious Mind. Okay, we have one here from Carol Ann. So Carol Ann had her comment here below. Hi, Brad and Breanne. I had a question regarding my current partner. Should I continue with this? What would be best for me? This has been a lot of turmoil and happiness. Okay, Carol Ann, you know what I'm going to say to you, okay? You have to look into yourself about this, okay? This is exactly what I was talking about with the previous person who had the question about her mother, okay? If you are not happy in the relationship, this is because of yourself and your patterns. You need to look at it. Please do the trauma transcendence technique for e-course, okay? Anger, sadness, fear, okay? What is that leading to pertaining to traumas? Abandonment, rejection, abuse, wanting to run away, escape, addiction. What is that leading to? Desires, security, success, superiority, hope, envy, pleasure, right? Neutrality, okay? All of these different things you need to look into and clean it out for yourself. People are acting the way that they are because of how you portray yourself. They are acting as your best friends, or they are acting as your mortal enemies because of how you are portraying yourself based on your patterns. You need to go into the subtle space. You need to look into yourself. This is why we go into the subtle state of being. Look into your patterns, clean them out. I have talked to you for a very long time. You know this, okay? So don't blame anybody else based on their behavior. That doesn't matter. Rather, what you need to see is, What is this doing to me? What is this reflecting back to me? Okay, because I can't change that person. I can look at my mother, I can look at my partner, I can look at my brothers, my sisters, my best friends, etc. Oh my God, they're acting so rude to me. They're acting so horrible to me. Okay, well, what is that doing to me? It makes me feel horrible. It makes me feel sad. It makes me feel fearful, angry. Okay, so does this recollect something that's happened to you before in the past? Oh, yes, I've had these kind of fights before. Exactly. Do you remember when it first started? Yeah, it was like when I was like 6 or 7 years old. I would get in like these big family affair fights and all that stuff, and that's when it really began. Good. Then that's exactly what we need to look at. We need to look at those patterns and we need to clear them. As we clear them, you will notice that everything shifts, which means now that you look at your partner, it feels like he's a completely different person. He will shift because you've shifted. It's the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube is in your hands. You don't give it to somebody else to shift for you because that's impossible. You're shifting your Rubik's Cube, right? So be aware of that. If there's a lot of turmoil, it's turmoil within you. It's your patterns. You need to clear it, right? Simple as that. Please look into TTT. Okay. Honey, what did you get?
Yeah, and I mean, we can't be the ones to tell you whether you should stay or go. This is definitely something you have to look at internally. But when you look at the energy of the tarot, we do have that Two of Cups in the situation as well, and the Ace of Swords. So this is looking at yourself internally and seeing what is causing this, what are the triggers and traumas too, because just leaving that relationship because there's turmoil doesn't mean it's going to solve anything if you're not looking internally. So this could very much be, salvageable, but it's about internally how you're going to see that and surrendering to it.
Now, what I would say is if it's an abusive situation, if there is fighting, if there is hurting, then that is always a grounds for dismissal, for withdrawing, right? There is never an excuse for violence. There is never an excuse for abuse in any particular forms. If you are being hurt, if you're being attacked, if you're being assaulted, don't put up with that, right? You need to leave that space and goes from, I don't think that's happening with you, but for some people there have been. I mean, I've come from that background with an ex-wife who was abusive, right? And I had to leave that space because it was a hostile environment. So that's something that we have to consider. That's never okay, right? And you need to go in a space that's safe so that you can now start working on yourself. That's exactly what I had to do for a year and a half after separating and leaving that world behind. I had to go into my own space. I had to clean myself up because it was becoming hostile. So if there are hostile situations, please leave the space. It's only causing more and more distress if there is a lot of fighting, a lot of hurt that's coming together. But like I said, these are patterns within yourself. They need to be cleared, and you need your own safe space to do that. Okay, very important. All right, let's move on. Yeah, a lot of donations. This is great. Okay, Shelley says, my partner has been trying to sell his mother's home after her passing. It has been a challenge to say the least. Can you tell me when it will sell? Okay, let's go ahead and make a look into that.
All right, let's see. Let's move in.
I'll take care of that.
All right, so if you look at this, you have the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Swords situation. So I can see the little bit of the challenge that's been happening here with the sale of the house, but I do see this happening pretty soon here. It looks like things will fall into place in terms of the sale of the home. So, I'm assuming you guys have a realtor and whatnot, or if you're selling it, by yourself, but keep doing that advertising, keep that positive energy flowing, because there's definitely something that's about to change here. So Ace of Cups in the outcome looks very positive moving forward, and you have the Ace of Pentacles and Ace of Swords. So I have a big yes for you. You will get through this. You will be able to have the house sell. It's just a little bit of the market's a little turbulent right now. Okay, so a little bit of a balance here. But I've got a yes. You got this. I know you're probably looking for more of a specific time. With the Ace of Cups coming out here, this could be something that could definitely happen in the next few months, more or less. Very, very positive energy. Okay.
Do you know the best advice I can give for someone who wants to sell their house? Stop caring about it. Stop caring about when it needs to sell, how it's going to sell, and all that. Because all you're doing is you're vicing it. You're putting it into a vice. and you have so much expectations about how this house is going to sell, you're clamping it down and you're preventing it from being sold. And I can tell you that when you actually let that go and you're at peace with the house, just letting it sell as it naturally is without you having to attach to it, it is a lot better. Okay. So it's kind of like when Breanne and I were looking for homes. We got this house, very first house we looked at, because at the same time, we didn't really care about it. I was okay, if we get it, that's great. If not, that's okay. There's going to be something else that comes. We looked at it, we thought it was great, but we weren't all anxious about it or anything of that nature. We just, okay, it's a nice house. We'll put our application in and it's done. We're basically the people that looked at it and they called us like what a day.
And the odds were kind of against us too, because they were interested,
but they fell through.
They fell through.
No, I didn't even have a doubt. I saw that place is ours. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right. And it happens. And it's the same thing with our last house as well too. Our last house, that was one of the first houses we looked at, and it came to us so quickly. Brad, what's your secret? Breanne, what's your secret? We don't care. Right? We're at peace with the house, and it's okay. That'd be cool. If we got this house, that'd be great. And we're just going to keep moving on. And then we looked at it. So yeah, I get a feeling we'll get it. And we did. Right. And then the same thing with this house. I said, okay, I think we're going to get it. And we did. But we're not hanging on for dear life. Well, then, oh my God, if we don't get this house, then we're finished and we're done. Right? That's the stuff that you're clamping it. You're putting it on a vice and you're holding it. Right? I have a student of mine who's trying to sell her house. And I have to say, clear out the worry and anxiety that you want to sell it. Don't care if you sell it or not. And it comes, right? You've already put your intention out. This is what I talked about in the white light breath video as well too. You've already charged the house. But what happens is you have not unplugged it and sent it off for the cosmic order to take care of it. Okay. You have not unplugged it. You still have a tether there. You haven't unplugged the cord, which means that I've already put my charge around this house. I've already put my great intentions knowing that this is going to sell well, but I keep thinking about it and you're throbbing with it and you're causing more bloat and it's now getting inflamed because you're not letting the tether go. You have to pull out the tether and say, okay, I've put my charge. Now I'm going to focus on other things. I'm going to focus on my work. I'm going to focus on my kids. I'm going to focus on this thing. I'm going to do all these other different things. And the house is going to be the last on my mind. It's taken care of. It's settled. It's charged. It's done. Let cosmic order take care of it. And then before you know it, just like that.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what I've noticed as soon as I drop everything. As soon as I drop everything.
Yeah, everything
poof,
just
everything
comes.
Everything comes, right? It's like with etherics as well too. I have certain expectations with etherics. Then when I finally drop that, it comes. Okay, and I can tell you, Shelley, the exact same thing will happen to you because that's the science of manifestation. The science of manifestation can certainly have a charge, but if you keep charging it and you keep bloating it and you keep causing it to be inflamed, nothing gets released. You're not pulling out the tether. You got to pull out the tether. Let it go. I'm going to focus on something else. I don't even care if the house gets sold or not. It's done, right? Before you know it, oh, your realtor calls you. Hey, guess what, Shirley? We sold the house. I just stopped caring about it and it happened. Exactly. And I can tell you that is science. That is not belief. That is not theory. That is science. That is a science of manifestations. Sure, charge it up. Once you charge it up, pull out the tether, let it go. And then before you know it, it's here. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can agree with me on that. Because when they finally let something go, it comes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will quickly add too, when we looked at this place, in terms of charging it up, try to activate all those senses. Like I would feel what it would feel like to open that front door, where we were going to put the Christmas tree, like little things like that. So charge it up, but then allow it to go.
Pull up the tether. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So it's like I say, how you charge your phone, right? You're plugging it in, you're charging up the phone.
Yeah,
when it's at 100%, you don't need to keep charging it. Okay, well, I'm still connecting. I'm still charging. Why are you charging? The battery's at 100%. No, but it needs to be charged more. How can it be charged more? It's at 100%, right? So you're keeping the cord in there and you're not letting yourself use the phone. It's still attached to the cord. Unplug the cord, right? So unplug the manifestation. Give it to the cosmic order. Cosmic order will give it to you like that if you stop caring about it. Charge it up, but you're not caring about it. The same thing. That's the
key.
That's kind of the contradiction with manifestation, is that you have to let it go as soon as you're done charging. Then it comes. Okay. Let's move on to Cygnus 49. I have been given a divorce by default. Do you see me finding any other assets? He left for France to hide his assets from me. Okay, this is a pretty big topic, so let's see what we can find here. So I'll go first, and then Breanne can follow up. So left, divorced by default, finding any other assets. He left France to hide his assets from me. I'm getting the feeling that you may want to have like an investigation committee with you, having some people who can do some finding for you, because he has certainly hidden his tracks in that way. But yes, there certainly are things that you can receive based on assets, but it feels like he's covering his tracks. So I think maybe getting some helpers, right? Maybe it's investigators or some type of committee in that sense that can help you. I'm not sure if it's a legal counsel. This isn't really my strong area. But the feeling is that, yes, you can certainly work together with getting assets, but it would require a team response, a team effort in that way. How about you?
Yeah, I definitely do agree with the tarot that has come out, especially with the Hermit, and the Seven of Swords does show him hiding a lot of stuff here. So again, you know, with that Eight of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles, I think that would be a good advice as Brad has given you, in terms of maybe looking to see if there's some kind of investigations or something that can happen here, because he has been, I feel like, doing a good job at hiding things here. So there is still some positive energy in terms of you know, gaining some, we got that Ace of Pentacles in your energy. So I do think you can recover some of this here, but it's going to take some work, is what it looks like. Yeah.
Some data mining, some data research, and like I said, have people who are really good at it. And like I said, maybe you can hire some people to do that. I know it's not always cheap. You can always do your own research, but like I said, it's much more efficient if there's a person who's experienced with doing that. It's hard to find this yourself because there's a lot of stuff that's buried in the ground, so to speak. So it's good to have others who you can get advice or support with to help dig a lot of this stuff up, but it certainly is findable. Okay, great. Thank you, Cygnus, for your question. Let's go to Shelley. Are there issues I've been having a parasite? Are the issues I've been having? Oh, okay, with Shelley. I think she was talking about her intestinal.
Her gallbladder.
Yeah, so I'll follow up with that. I can't really say, right? I would have to probably do a little bit more of a deeper scan. If I did a full body scan on you, then I'd be able to say altogether. I would say it's a possibility, but it's not just parasites. It's backed up. Okay, it's backed up debris. It's backed up gunk in the body. Like I said, if I'm looking at your liver, gallbladder area, it's like looking at a wasp's nest. Okay, it's just there's a lot of secretion. There's a lot of buildup there, and it has to go. Okay, so parasites possibly. I can't put 100% on that unless I do a full body scan on you. But if I was to estimate, possibly, quite possibly, I'd say it's about a 75% chance, right? So yes, but like I said, it's just a matter of getting those things cleaned up.
Yeah, I mean, I pulled a couple cards for you as well on this, and it is hard to say exactly if it's parasites, but it is like a backlogged of just sludge and energy here. So
it's causing a lot of stagnancy in your energy field.
Yeah.
Right? Your vitality is being affected by all this backed up sludge. It needs to be cleaned out. So I would say it's not really the question to ask about that. It's really just the idea of getting all that crap out of your system, literally, right? Get it all out of your system as best as you can. If you can do it yourself, great. If not, go to a specialist. Ozone therapy is also very good. Ozone therapy is very well known for helping to clean out your cells. So that's a good thing. And there's ozone clinics all over the place. You may want to look into that as well too. So try to do what you can on your own. And if you need more help, like I said, work with Radiate, work with the white light breath technique, work with cleaning up your diet, work with specialists. Okay. And that can help just get all that stuff out of you as best you can. Usually what I would suggest is people just start eating one meal a day, right? Either 2 small meals a day or 1 large meal a day. That's exactly what I've been doing. I've been losing like 7 or 8 pounds doing that, just cleaning out the system just by eating 1 meal a day, and it really, really helps. Okay, let's move on. Okay, that's the last of the donation-based questions. Very good, my friends. We had a lot of good questions there. So we still have about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to go with some of the standard questions. I don't think I have any more. Yeah, we got tons here. Okay, so I'm just going to close that off. All right. Okay, here's one from Mahale, yeah. Hello, Brad and Breanne. Can you explain how a universal basic income would work if most people hate their jobs? Again, I'm not here to talk for other people in that sense. Whether a person loves their job or hates their job, that's their own issue, right? you love your job, great. If you hate it, well, that's something you need to look into. Like I said, you're still putting your animosity towards something outside of you, right? So if we're looking at a universal basic income, like would that basically work? Let's see. It works for some, it'll work for some, and it will not work for others. It's going to be very much split down the middle, right? There are people who are going to be glad to receive it, because it's more than just a basic income. It's going to be like a universal high income, okay? This is, like I said, it's close to the idea of what we refer to as a Nasera Gesera, without it actually being that. It will basically be the label of universal income, right? Whether that's high income or basic income or subsidized income, whatever it may be. But there's the feeling of a universal income that's coming, and it's going to be split down the middle. There's going to be people who really favor it. There's people who really don't want it because they want to keep working, right? So if you hate your job, well, first of all, that's a pattern you need to clear. Secondly, you will not have to work with a job that you despise when this rolls out. You can simply apply for it, and there will be applications for it to apply for it, right? So if you're feeding a family, if it's a single mom with 3 kids, for example, right, she'll be able to apply for universal income, and it will come, right? So it's very split down the middle. There are people who won't want anything to do with it, and there will be people who will, and it just depends upon that person. So the whole idea is that this is coming. I don't know exactly when. I think it might be around 2026, 2027, maybe around there, the golden years, right? Right now, 2025, we're basically seeing Trump's administration coming together. There's going to be a lot of significant changes within those 4 years, right? So I would say within that 4-year span, we're certainly going to see a universal income coming together.
Yeah, I absolutely see a universal income coming together with the Ace of Pentacles and the Star as the outcome. But again, it's interesting that you said it is going to be a bit of a split where some people will be very much for it and some people will not, because we do have that 8 of Swords. But it feels like as well, this could open up an opportunity for people to follow things that they actually really enjoy and partake in certain, fields that are going to really excel and help them move forward as well. So it does feel a little bit of a split, but I see it happening, and I see for the most part it being extremely positive. But again, it's circumstances, they don't really, it's your state of being that truly matters. So again, if you're not happy in your job, then that's also something you need to look at, as Brad said, and clear that out. So looks like really positive for the most part. But again, some people may not be too excited about it from what it looks like.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Alina. Alina says there are AI technologies in development trying to get people out of their divine intelligence birthright and substitute as a form of shortcut. Would transhumanism be implemented? Again, we're looking at the external and putting a blame on the external, thinking that that's going to affect your inner development. And if that is affecting your inner development, you are not developing yourself at all. Okay? If you are basically being bogged down to the nature of artificial intelligence, and I actually don't mind using it. I like using it as a creative tool. Okay, and I'm a gamer myself, my friends. I got arcade machines downstairs. I love games. Right? I've always loved them since I was a little kid. I haven't given those up. And here I am teaching these things to you guys for the past 16 years. So even though I've been, for example, in the face of a lot of different forms of AI or games or technology in that sense, it has never affected my inner development, right? So looking at divine intelligence, if you truly touch divine intelligence, Alina, there's nothing artificial that could ever confuse that. You have to learn exactly how to touch that divine intelligence. And that divine intelligence is touched by the subtlety of your being, right? When you're there, and I can talk about this because of a person who's actually had an enlightening experience, I can tell you that there is no AI, there is no form of technology, there is no form of mechanism, there is no form of weaponized technology that could ever influence me to move past divine intelligence. And I can say that because I've touched it. If you touch it, I don't care what toy you have, nothing is ever going to take you away from that. And nothing will ever try to substitute to basically feel like here's a transhumanism agenda instead of you moving into inner development, of working with your divine intelligence. Transhumanism is already happening, but transhumanism has touched the people who have not touched the divine intelligence. I can tell you that if you touch the divine intelligence, you will never be confused by what it really is, and nothing can ever substitute that. And that is from my own personal experience. So when transhumanism is coming together, it's through people's ignorances because they have not touched that intelligence yet. And if you've touched it, you know what I'm talking about, right? That is what brings about not only the nature of enlightenment, but it's helping you to know yourself. It's helping you to be at peace with yourself. These things don't matter. Do you think these things are going to stop as soon as you leave your body? No. These things are going to continue. There are going to be more agendas, Alina, way after you and I are both gone. Rather than thinking that this is what's going to hold down any form of divine intelligence that touches me, how about I spend more time on working to touch that divine intelligence? Because that is what my heart is leading me towards, getting into the subtle and touching that divine intelligence. Agendas are going to be agendas. Programs are going to be programs. Circumstances will continue to happen on this planet long after you and I are gone. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you are working in touching that divine intelligence. And if you've already touched it, then you already know what I'm talking about. Nothing pertaining to AI or artificiality in any way can ever pull you out of that. It is impossible. The only reason why there's a lot of that weaponized systems is to prevent from people touching that intelligence, because once you touch it, you're untouchable. You're immune to all the crap of the world. And I mean that in the deepest way I can, because I'm there. And I'm talking to you from a man of experience who's actually there. All right? How do you about you?
Yeah, I mean, and especially with, AI coming up here, I don't see AI is going to be very much present moving forward here, but it can be very much a tool that we can utilize. But when we have the hermit over the situation, it's really talking about being in touch with that divine intelligence and being able to know that that's not something that AI can't replace that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, if that's something that
it's a dead
struggling
corpse.
with,
It's a soulless thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like trying to say that when you've actually touched the soul, what's the difference between the soul and the soulless? Well, you've already touched the soul. You know what the soul is,
Yeah.
right? It is impossible for you to confuse the two. So that's what I mean. Once you're caught up directly into the nature of knowing the divine intelligence, nothing can ever tease you about questionability about that again, right? So you have to take the time to be at peace with yourself. Get to know who you are. Stop worrying about what the world is going through. It's not your business. It's not important, right? Work with yourself. Free yourself. People want to find out what you've done. Let them come to you. Share it, right? Of course, share it. But don't get so caught up in all these things in the world, because agendas are going to continue to happen even after we're all gone, okay? That is not the nature of life. Get to know who you are. Get to be at peace with you. That's the most important thing. All right, let's go to another question. We're almost out of time here. We're going to take one more question. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to scroll down close to the bottom of the chat. Okay. Okay, I think we'll go in this last one here. This is from Jedi Law. I like the name. Hi, Breanne. Happy New Year to you both. Any idea what is happening with my left shoulder? It has been frozen for some time. Okay, so Breanne can look into that. I'll look into it secondly.
Well, there's some pretty tough energy coming out here, my friend. So with your shoulder, it feels like you're kind of overdoing it a lot here, especially the fact that there's a big emphasis on needing to step back and needing to reboot, needing to just take some time out here, because it feels like a big emphasis on you overdoing it. Your energy is like overexerted with this. And it looks like your shoulders it's struggling here. I do see vitality being able to, come back to it, but it's going to take a little bit of taking a step back out and working. I don't know. I feel like feel guided to talk about a little bit. Maybe Brad can elaborate on it, but I feel like the naughty channels are also affecting this as well. There's restrictions within your channels that are blocking it as well, is what I'm getting from the tarot here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, basically, you've had, I feel like this has been something with you that's nagging at you for quite some time, and you haven't got the message. And because you haven't got the message and it's been happening for quite a while, it starts to get frozen. The early signs are there and they're subtle at first. Then they start to get a little bit heavier and then a little bit heavier and then a little bit heavier. And you haven't been able to acknowledge it. And the shoulder is going to freeze up. It's exactly what happened with my dislocated shoulder, right? I thought it was fine. And I would get, a lot of crinks and knots in it and all that sense. And I didn't pay attention to it either. And then finally it got dislocated, right? And then after I've dislocated it, I've nursed it back to health, and it's actually a lot more healthier now than it's ever been. So this is the thing, is you have to be aware of the early signs. It's very subtle. It's tingles, right? It may feel like a little bit of numbness that's there at first. And what I would suggest is that, number one, maybe you're getting a really good massage. Number two, maybe go into infrared saunas. That can really, really help you out. Number three, ozone can also help you. Ozone injections can help you with that. Number four, radiate. Number five, white light breath. Okay. Number six, eating well, eating healthy for the body, doing some yoga. Okay. So I'm giving you quite a few different options here. But basically, I feel like you've already had the warning signs of this for quite a while. You've just been ignoring them. You're either ignoring them or you're ignorant of them, or the two, or kind of a combination of the two. But again, this happened to me. I was not aware of my shoulder. I was ignorant to it, and it got dislocated. Okay. So if your shoulder is freezing up, this is after years of already a lot of intense stress upon it. So do some rehabilitation of it, right? Really clean it out. Do some yoga. Do all these things I'm suggesting. That would be my recommendation.
And I'm strongly hearing acupuncture, especially when I'm looking at this Ten of Swords. So that could
just
help
anything that helps to free
energy.
up the shoulder, because it's basically being knotted. It's knotted, and if it's frozen in that sense, you're limiting mobility, because there's a lot more placeholders that are trying to keep this in order so that it's not, it's jolting out a socket or whatever it may be, right? So there's a lot of frozenness there because that's a protection. So there's stuff happening within that. It needs to be unknotted. That's really the key. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you all for your questions today. I really appreciate it. So again, remember, you can go to readingswithbreanne.com. You have a discount going on right now.
Yeah, I do have a 25% discount. It's good until January 25th, so that's open. And I'll also be doing some more live open readings on YouTube here. Plan is to do them every Friday, but this Friday I'll have to switch it to I think Saturday I'll be posting a note on the community just so I can have an appointment. But feel free to check out my website.
Okay. Great. And like I said, Breanne will be added to Wisdom Transmissions this week as well too. So you can reach out to her through that website as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. And we're always happy to be here. We do this once a month. So we appreciate all of your questions. You guys had some amazing questions today. We really appreciate it. And again, I may have some videos this coming week as well too. I'm working with a lot of different things, so I'm going to try and make some time for it. But thank you for being with us today. Really appreciate it. Blessings to you all. Namaskar, and see you next week.
Bye for
Namaskar.
now.
Bye for now.